Mrs. West was preparing dinner when suddenly the front door slammed. Wiping her hands as she went, she hurried into the hallway. "Connor, I wasn't expecting you today. Why are you alone? Did something happen?" she asked worriedly. "Mum, give me something to eat, please," replied her son instead of answers. The woman immediately fussed and called her son to the kitchen, deciding to leave her questions for later. The son ate in silence and then got up from the table and went to his room. Mrs. West followed him and watched her son lay down on the bed in bewilderment. "Connor, what does it mean?" "Mum, I'll sleep here tonight, okay?" But Mrs. West shook her head negatively. "Thank you, my dear, for visiting your mother, but you will not spend the night here. Go home. You have your own house and wife." "Mum, come on. Helen and I had a quarrel." Mrs. West stood her ground. "So what? If you had a fight, then make up. By the way, why were you quarrelling?" "I was tired at work. I came home. The house is a mess. No food is prepared. I have to cook for myself," said Connor angrily. "So what's the big deal? You're a cook. Why is it hard for you?" "I understand you'll argue that Helen is also a cook, but Helen has more worries now. Or do you think that maternity leave is really a vacation? You'd run away from such a vacation on the third day, especially when you have twins." "Mom, but she hasn't had time to sew a button on my shirt for 3 days now," threw Connor in anger. "Oh, so here's the thing. Don't you know how to hold a needle in your hands? By the way, remember when you needed it, you sewed yourself the coolest Halloween costume ever, and now you're slamming the door because of a button?" Mrs. West shook her head reproachfully. "Listen to me, son. Don't fool around and go home. This is not your home now. I'm always glad when you visit me, alone or with your family, but your home is where your wife and sons are now. So get up and go home." "I don't want to," said Connor grudgingly. "You should have thought before the wedding. And now it's too late, Sonny. No one dragged you into marriage by force, and make sure you go straight home, because if I find out that you didn't sleep at home, don't ever show your face to me again. Things happen in life, and you can argue with your wife. So just do a couple of laps around the house, cool down, but leaving is the last thing. Otherwise, you should not have started." Mrs. West walked her son to the front door. At the threshold, her son leaned over and his mother kissed him goodbye. "Go on, say my hello to Helen and kiss my grandchildren for me. And Sunday, I expect you all for lunch."